Remember at such times where everyone stands. He thought he might have added a threatening tone to the last statement, but then someone 3. said just get this problem over with, and put that lowly thief behind bars. With this concluding statement the villagers dispersed into each and every direction. So the guards couldn't disperse the crowd, and his assuring speech had no effect, but one sentence spoken by a villager had that power. What was it about that villager? He wasn't special. He had no... To the contrary, he was just an average person. Maybe below average. What did he have? Nothing. He told his consultant later that man who said to put the thief behind bars, who was he? He works in the village bakery. Just a regular employee. Can you bring him here for me? I could, but if I may ask, what might you want from him? I have a feeling about this, thought I'd interview him. The man was brought to him. The leader talked to him for a long time. The longer he talked, the more he liked that person. The more he enjoyed his company. He reminded him of himself when he was young, before he was anything. It was a time of no ego. It was a carefree time. Maybe that was what people liked about him. He appeared average. He answered typically like any other villager would. A language the villagers understood. People could relate to what they understood. Unlike the simple villager, the leader always presented people with fancy plans and classy terminology. The leader always tried to appear what he was not. He always spoke in a way that was artificial. Something didn't seem right when he spoke. He told his wife that night, I am going to change my style of speech with the village people. His wife seemed worried. What do you intend to do? I am always hiding behind a facade. I think I might like to show the people who I really am. You mean dress in simple clothes? No, speak in a simpler language, a language that people could relate to. But that's the same as wearing simple clothes. Don't you see? The way you dress now is very sophisticated. People could never understand how you achieve that look. People would never be able to appear as you appear. That should apply to your speech. 4. After thinking about it for some time, he said, maybe you are right. Maybe our speech must be different, just like our clothes. Maybe our words are for the masses to decipher. She just shrugged it off. I mean, what could she really do? What does it matter anyway? There was nothing that could be done. He was leader, and she didn't for one moment believe that a matter as small as the recent thefts could bring his leadership to an end. No one really seemed to care. Secretly, he feared the bakery worker. What if the people gathered around him? What if such a simpleton was the end of his position in the village? What if things took an even worse turn? 5 days after interviewing the bakery worker, his worst nightmares became real. In front of his mansion again, there seemed to be what was bordering on an angry mob. And who was the leader? None other than the bakery man. His heart sank at the very sight, yet he managed to put on a show. What he heard next was beyond his wildest dreams. The average simpleton said, we have reason to believe your consultant is behind the recent thefts that took place. He looked at his consultant with shock. He didn't know what to say. Before we jump to any conclusions, we must verify such an accusation. He looked at the consultant again. Finally, the consultant spoke. I admit, I have been behind the recent thefts. Everyone was quiet. The leader was baffled. The consultant continued, I lead a very boring life, and needed a challenge. I did what I did merely out of boredom, and in search for joy. I have little need for such petty possessions. I'd also like to inform you all that it's been fun, and I sincerely like to apologize. Here the words failed the leader. He stayed quiet. He looked at his wife. He looked at the consultant. People were hesitant, until the bakery man shouted, guards. Arrest this man. A moment of hesitation ensued before one of the dumber guards moved forward and said with great ferocity, "Seize him." The guards were under the spell and went with the powerful tide. And so, the man was arrested, and on the bakery man's orders. Everyone looked astonished, turning the eyes from the leader to the bakery worker, and then back to the leader. People couldn't believe this was really happening. At night, the leader visited his consultant with 3 of his guards. He looked at the consultants with eyes that spoke of great disappointment. "How could you betray me like that? You made a 5 fool out of me. I trusted you and gave you everything you needed." The consultant laughed. "It is nothing personal, but come on, this village is stagnant. This village is a graveyard. There has to be something new. There has to be something to rock the boat. And you dare to speak in this manner. Relax, I'm the one behind bars, not you. I will pay for what I did, while you will retain your position. Yes, but still, you made a fool out of me. It would never be the same again. Relax. You take things so seriously. I used to be like that before. Believe me. It's not worth it. Just chill. I just want you to know that whatever happens from now on, it's your fault." "Yes, okay, if you say so." The leader left in an agitated manner. He walked fast and his shoulders were seen moving with each breath he took. At night he had a nasty nightmare, the type that would make a man scream was it not for the social reality that acted as a system of checks and balances. He woke up sweating even though the weather was quite cold. He got up and went for the living room, where he had more freedom of movement and thought. He paced the room for an hour before he realized it was probably a good idea to sit down and ponder deeply about the situation. Was the bakery employee trying to steal his position away from him? Did the bakery employee have a secret ambition to rule and lead the village? Was he after money? Could he be paid off? Maybe that was a good idea. Actually, it was quite a bad idea. What if people were to know about it? That would make him look weak. After considering 1,000 possibilities, the leader finally rested after deciding on his next course of action. Only then was he able to sleep. It finally dawned on him. He was lenient with his people, perhaps too lenient. People are rebellious by nature, and once they see mercy and tolerance they mistake it for weakness and get greedy. Then they get naughty. It's time to remind the bakery man of where he stands. Only then did he have enough peace of mind, and slept like a baby. He woke up a little late, but he felt very relaxed. He needed that kind of sleep once in a while. 6. He thought. His wife said so the day after your consultant disgraced you sleep in? He smiled, as does a